Yo, what's good? What's poppin'? Yo, what's good? What's happening, y'all? It's your guy, Spiderzilla 28, aka your mom's favorite bedroom toy. Back at it again with yet another awesome, spectacular, fun, dope. Okay, that's enough fucking adjectives right now. But you get the point. We're back at it again with another episode of Kaiju Controversy. And today we're going to be talking, it kind of feels fucking weird placing this in Kaiju Controversy because we're going to be spending a lot of time talking about the humans. Of course, yeah, yo, before you click off, I'm going to just let you know, all right? I think this experience will definitely behoove you. See, there you go. You just learned a new fucking word, behoove. But anyway, let's get right into it. Today we're going to be talking about Monarch, the Legacy of Monsters. And we're going to, really be focusing a lot on, the dope-ass human characters, the dope-ass writing, and just the awesome art that is Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so right off rip, I really appreciate and dig the mature tone of this particular series. Godzilla-related content gets a really bad rep for being too goofy, too campy, or too fucking silly, blase, this, that, and the third. We heard it all before. But, Monarch Legacy of Monsters, they heard that and was like, all right, hold my beer. So one real good example of, just edge of your seat drama is when May receives hypothermia, she's gonna fucking freeze to death because they're in this, I forget, are they in the Arctic? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they're in this snowy environment and her leg gets fucking wet, it gets soaked with water. Now mind you, they're already in this crazy fucking cold ass environment. So she's gonna fucking, if she doesn't receive assistance, she's gonna die of hypothermia. And at this particular time, I was really digging the character of May. You feel me? That character was awesome, in my eyes. And just to see her be on death's door was intense, bro. It's really fucking intense. It's very reminiscent of back in Godzilla 2014 where Bryan Cranston's character just up and died. He was fucking iced by the Muto. It was really crazy. So it really brought those 2014 vibes back. And man, that was much respect for Monarch for doing that. All right, so right off rip, I just want to say, Legendary, Apple, whoever was in charge of casting, brilliant move bringing Wyatt Russell and Kurt Russell, because these are, where do I even fucking begin, bro? These are A-list actors with a respectable resume. Bro, that's an instant attention grabber right there. That's an instant bro, if you're seeing this as a casual, not even as a casual Godzilla fan, if you're just seeing this as someone that just every now and then opens up their streaming app and oh shit, Kurt Russell is in this. Oh shit, Wyatt Russell is in this. Wasn't he the guy that played fake Captain America? Yeah. In Falcon and Winter Soldier. Oh yeah. I'm gonna check this out. I liked his acting chops. I'm gonna definitely check this out. So, brilliant decision by basically bringing in these A-list actors. And see, I feel like the Monsterverse just needs to continue doing this. I understand why they don't do it. They're trying to obviously conserve on funds and conserve when it comes to the budget. But brilliant decision right there. All right, so here's a time where we actually go in when it comes to some of the acting chops on some of these actors. Before this show even came out and was released, before it even dropped, admittedly I was a little skeptical about some of the acting chops or acting abilities of some of these actors. But Legacy of Monsters just totally exceeded my expectations. Bruh, when you see May and she's on the San Francisco bridge and Godzilla is in front of her, basically roaring at her, it's totally believable. You feel you're actually there with her, experiencing the fucking horror that was G-Day. Which, by the way, shout out, I'm gonna be jumping all over the place, but shout out to Legendary for officially calling the 2014 event G-Day. That man, That's just chef's kiss, chef's kiss. But anyway, going back to the acting, yo, the actress that plays May, like, again, and I'm gonna delve more into like the analysis, the full-on analysis of her character later, but the acting chops that she's able to like convey and like just project and like show off is like amazing. It's totally believable. Like whenever her character is on screen, I don't know, you have little resistance but to like actually pay attention to that character, because she has like such a way of conveying and like communicating a lot. Like her line delivery is just so top notch. It's like an instant attention grab. And again, just to emphasize on the sheer acting prowess of some of these actors, the interactions between Keiko and Lee Shaw is something to like just behold. It's amazing. Like you feel so just entranced by the acting abilities of, you know, the actress that plays Keiko and Kurt Russell and or Riot Russell. It's just something. It's so indescribable, bro. It's just something you gotta experience. Yo, definitely check out, if you got that Apple subscription, definitely give this series a watch. The acting abilities between these two actors is just incredible. All right, so this leads me into my next topic, the visuals. And son, the visuals are just spectacular. When you're looking at like some of the scenery in this particular series, it just feels as if like it makes you feel as if like you're in that environment. Like you just get so, again, just entranced and like hypnotized by like some of the visuals, my guy. Like just look at the snowy environment right here. Just look at it. All right, give it a good look. All right. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna let my man Patrick like literally just describe the sheer awe that is this scene.
It's a vast, swirling wonderland of sparkling white pleasure. Let it fill your senses with cascading, fluffy pillows of excitement and comfort as you've never felt before.
Wow, Patrick. That was beautiful.
Yo, shout out to Patrick. Thank you, Patrick Star. So we get scenes like that, right? But then we're also treated to this brilliant scene that is just pure art. You know, that scene of Godzilla arising from the ground in Monarch, which by the way is it's a kick-ass homage to 1964 Godzilla versus Mothra, right? But it's just sheer, it's art. Just look at it. Like from everything from like the little grains of fucking dirt coming from the spines, his spine hitting the fucking helicopter. Oh, dude, it's euphoria. That scene right there is fucking euphoria right there, bro. So I can't believe I got to tackle this next subject, right? But you know, this one's dedicated for all of our friends that basically say they're belly aching and complaining and bitching and moaning, saying some dumb shit like this. The following, something along the lines of the following dumb fucking sentence. OMG, the Monsterverse is going woke. OMG, they have an agenda.
Oh my God, no!
All right, so first off, let me just address this shit real quick. All right, you ready for this? All right, peep game. I want you to really listen. Any smart and or intelligent IP and or franchise is going to naturally just include diversity. That's the sensible fucking thing to do. Like, you hear me? You follow me? All right. Secondly, our beloved kaiju genre, while mainstream, is still very niche. Okay? It's still considered to be an acquired taste. And I know you guys are going to hate me for saying this, but any type of assistance from the general audience and or casual viewer helps immensely. And in order to do that, they have to reach out and, oh, I don't know, do this stupid thing of like including diversity, because the more diversity they have, the more viewers they have, like it's like breaking down, like I don't understand like who can't follow and or respect this formula. It's like fucking breaking down rocket science apparently to some people. And again, I can't believe I got to break down, man, it's so nauseating doing this shit, bro. I got to break down business strategy 101 for some of y'all grown ass adults. Okay. But it's cool. As long as I help basically change the mind of someone and help them to, stop leaving nasty fucking negative comments on Legendary's fucking advertisements on Instagram. I'm here to basically help help the Monsterverse, because I love this franchise and I want to see it grow and develop. And we're never going to get there if people keep leaving like these fucking shitty ass fucking comments. You feel me? So this is dedicated for y'all. I'm gonna break down business strategy 101. Now, granted, I'm speaking on behalf of like myself, but when people open up their streaming apps and they see a face and or person that looks similar to them, they then get interested, right? They get a little interested, they get a little curious, and then there's a possibility that, oh, I don't know, they'll probably click on the show that person is being advertised on, which is something you want, because if somebody does that, that's then, if they do that and then they get hooked to the show, that's another fucking viewer for your precious IP. Like what's not mathing here? And again, I can only speak from experience. I can only speak for myself. But I only talk about shit I know. You feel me? So don't shoot the messenger. But and again, I know this is gonna like come off as like a surprise and or shock for a lot of y'all. But black folk, I can only speak on behalf of like myself and my experience. But black people are mad supportive. Okay? They were mad supportive. Like when we see a melanated face, and again, I'm not speaking for all of us, but typically when we see like a melanated face and it's pushed in pop culture, that then serves as like, oh, I don't know, an instant fucking attention grab. We're gonna be curious. We're gonna be like, I wonder what this is about, which is good. It's good. And need I even explain why that's good? Because that then adds additional viewers for your favorite IP. But guess what? If we're bitching and moaning and complaining about, a franchise being diverse and making these stupid claims that they have an agenda, how is that going to help your precious franchise and or IP? Like, what? Golly gee willikers. Speaking of black people, let's just proceed into like some of my favorite characters, right? Starting off with May. Now May, again, there's a lot of likable attributes to May. She's practical, she's tough, she's expressive. She's able to, early on in episode 1, she's able to hack into fucking Monarch. I'm gonna say that again in case that wasn't badass enough. She's able to hack into a fucking Monarch. She's competent, and she just wants to go home. And catch a nice alcoholic drink, which is something I can respect. But the biggest reason why I respect and admire May as a character so much is the fact that she's relatable because she's flawed. Monarch, it's got like this bad reputation of like having quote unquote perfect Mary Sue's, like, oh, they too perfect, they have no character development. So I gotta be that guy again. May has character development. She's flawed. She starts off being flawed. In fact, in the middle, I think it's episode 5 or 6 is where we learn that she lets she lets Kate and Kentaro know off rip, hey, I was just in this out of like pure self-interest. Okay, I was in this out of pure self-interest. I didn't care about any of y'all problems. I just thought maybe helping y'all would benefit me. But you know, I like y'all now, so now I'm gonna roll with y'all. And that was great character development right there. Okay, so like all you guys basically bitching and moaning like, yo, everybody in here is a Mary Sue. They're perfect. They don't have any flaws. That's definitely not me. She is flawed. Therefore, I like and respect her character. Oh yeah, I nearly forgot to include this nifty nugget of information. So here's the thing, and for all of us who are just so get so enthusiastic about, you know, lore, you know, additional information that's like added into like our favorite franchises and stuff, I thought this was a nifty fun fact. She was a programmer for Apex Cybernetics. And I'm gonna say that again, just to remind y'all. She was a programmer for Apex Cybernetics. You know, the company that made this fucking monstrosity. Okay, so I think that fact alone, that's pretty fucking badass. I gotta go and rewatch and see if like any of her codes were actually applied to Mechagodzilla, but man, that's just fucking badass right there. All right, so let's chat a little bit about Kate. So while her character, she ain't the most animated character in fiction, she's a huge improvement from other Monsterverse characters. You know, she's a huge improvement. Like, first off, let's just address that she was there during the G-Day events. Like, when Godzilla was basically, like, charging through the San Francisco bridge, she was, like, literally smack dab right there. And she's seen people, like, die right in front of her, bro. She's seen the bus fall into the fucking ocean. And not only that, she's seen Godzilla up close and personal, roaring in her fucking face. Like, bruh. So because of all of this, she now wrestles with like a heavy amount of fucking PTSD that continuously haunts her throughout the fucking show, bruh. And that's something that, again, that makes her vulnerable. It makes her a vulnerable character. And it's something that the Monsterverse doesn't really address that much at all. So like this was a welcome addition. You know what I mean? So let's get this out the way. She's, of course, a gay character that, you know, we find out, you know, has a girlfriend, or at least had a girlfriend at one point. And it's really ridiculous. Like, people were literally roasting this character for the most asinine reason imaginable. Like, oh my gosh, they have an agenda. Like, when this episode dropped, bruh, mind you, I forget what episode it was, but like it was a flashback scene of like her and her girlfriend. When that episode dropped, there were so many people like just shitting in the comments about like in regards to like the most asinine fucking reason. It was so trivial, bro. Like, oh my god, not the Monsterverse going woke. Like,
Oh my god, no!
when this episode dropped, bruh, mind you, I forget what episode it was, but like it was a flashback scene of like her and her girlfriend. When that episode dropped, there were so many people like just shitting in the comments about like in regards to like the most asinine fucking reason. It was so trivial, bro. Like, oh my god, not the Monsterverse going woke. Like, bruh, people just wow. I don't really know what the fuck is up with people, but a lot of times when certain people see minorities and or individuals from like the LGBTQ community be represented in media, automatically they make this claim that there's an agenda taking place. And it's like, nah, bruh. People just want to see their communities / race be like represented. You know, that's all we want to see. We just want to see representation. And again, earlier I mentioned representation is good because it then begets more viewers. You feel me? So it's not a bad thing. Again, another reason why Kate as a character just works, not just for Monarch, but like for the Monsterverse as a whole. It shows us, it really just like shows us like how haunting and like twisted a Godzilla encounter can be, you know, through the perspective of Kate. And I feel like Monsterverse, and that's another thing. Monsterverse Godzilla gets like this reputation of being like a fucking Boy Scout, you know, who is like humanity's friend, you know. But here in Monarch, we see that that's not necessarily the fucking case at all. I mean, I thought it was fucking obvious, but especially here in Monarch, and not just in Monarch, but like scenes like this, and scenes like this perfectly portray why Godzilla does not give a flying fuck about humanity in the slightest. I'm sorry. But that's another awesome thing that Monarch Legacy of Monsters is able to accomplish. It's able to make Godzilla look cool, and it's able to like depict him as being like this badass possible hero. But I feel like another important element of Godzilla is the fact that he's like this unpredictable force of nature that can literally just not even just turn on someone, but just be a fucking dangerous threat to humanity just by simply existing. I love that about Godzilla. The fact that he's a fucking problem without even necessarily doing anything. You know what I mean? And it's a whole other layer of just like awesome drama of just seeing a character go through like these bouts of continuous PTSD. It's incredible. And again, if somebody like Kate is going through bouts of PTSD like this, imagine being the poor bastard that survived this, that survived that, and survived this. Man, that just brings in like a flavor of darkness into the Monsterverse that's like just very, very much welcomed and needed and appreciated. So thank you, Apple TV. And so it's come to this, after basically being treated to, you know, constant teasers of constant like 30 seconds or like a minute of like monsters being like randomly scattered throughout the series. We are treated to an awesome battle between the Ion Dragon and Godzilla himself, which is, it's really cool to see. It's only a couple minutes. It's only maybe like 3 minutes tops. But like see, this is the awesome art that is modern television. We're treated to like basically nonstop human drama, but our reward is basically seeing like this chaotic clash of titans. And that just made the fight all the more precious to me, man. So I'm actually appreciative that we didn't get like a shit ton of kaiju fights in here. I mean, we got some in the very beginning in episode 1, you know, during like that flashback of like Skull Island and shit. Then we see Godzilla sprinkled here and there, and then we see other titans. But again, the charm of Monarch Legacy of Monsters is like seeing the backstory of Monarch and like seeing these characters go through like drama, which again, like shocker, kaiju fans, toxic kaiju fans, shocker. Hey, not everyone wants to see constant kaiju battles. I mean, the kaiju battles, they're cool, but you can only tell so much of a fucking story from constant, continuous kaiju battles. We need that layer of human drama to tell a story. So that's why drama isn't always a bad thing. First off, it attracts the casual general audience, right? And again, I know y'all hate me for saying this, but we need the viewership and or support of the general audience so this IP, this franchise can grow, it can blossom. We need their folks. I've said it before. We just need their support. And so shout out to Apple for not only doing it, but pulling it off and doing it right. Moving right along and discussing another favorite character of mine, Possibly, honestly, like possibly my number one favorite character of this series would be Kiko. And I just love that this series proceeds to educate and remind the viewers of how very different the times were. You know, Kiko's introduction scene is very, very like iconic in my opinion. Mind you, this we're constantly flashing back and fast forwarding in time throughout the series. It takes place during the 1950s and 2000s. So basically, after WW2, Lee Shaw, he meets Keiko, and he's basically expecting to meet a male scientist. And he meets Keiko, and he basically goes, "Yeah, I'm looking for Dr. Keiko. Are you his daughter?" And she just gives him this look like, "I am Dr. Keiko, meathead." That joint was priceless. Another great example of, and I just really, man, this character's like so just badass. Another awesome moment is when Lee Shaw and Keiko are like at this ball party or whatnot, and there's people giving Keiko like these weird ass side eyes, like they're screw facing her and or looking at her like, giving her like these like weird ass looks. And there's an instance where one of the soldiers goes, "Oh, don't worry, she's one of the good ones." And she then repeats this same comment, like facetiously or sarcastically to Lee Shaw, in a mocking sort of way, like, "Don't worry, I'm one of the good ones." So, and what I liked, what this scene basically depicted was, she's not just book smart. She's socially aware enough to basically address and comment and recognize a microaggression, which is, man, that's just so awesome. Basically, see, and this is like dedicated. Everything that I'm saying thus far, this is dedicated to like you toxic Godzilla fans that, and not even just toxic Godzilla fans, just toxic fans, period, that say like these goofy ass microaggressions when it pertains to like these shows that like feature a shit ton of like diverse characters. And you like, say, for example, like Disney Plus is advertising a popular Star Wars show, and fans everywhere are shitting on it by basically saying things along the lines of, I just couldn't get down with the pacing. The pacing of the story was too different for me, or this isn't my kind of Star Wars. That fucking microaggressions, bro. So yeah, that was when Keiko addresses like that crazy ass fucking comment, that's basically her recognizing a microaggression. And I do believe that this is Legendary / Apple reminding everybody in the geek community to basically just calm down and be mindful of your fucking microaggressions. I mean, that's all there is to it. Okay, so before I wrap up this character analysis of Keiko, I just want to like mention something briefly. Shout out to Legendary, shout out to Apple, shout out to Monarch Legacy and Monsters for basically introducing us to just an awesome variety of new, different sci-fi elements within this series. Like, the gamma radiation simulator, we have Access Mundi. Man, Access Mundi is the one that I'm excited for the most, honestly, bro. So let me paint the picture here for like you casual viewers. Access Mundi is it's basically an area between Earth and Hollow Earth where time moves differently, and they can basically be accessed through like rifts generated by gamma radiation stimulation, if that makes sense, right? So, in other words, say for example, there's like a shit ton of gamma radiation in the area that basically has the potential to like open up a rift, and then one and or different organisms can inadvertently travel through that rift and end up in a realm where basically space and time just seems to operate on its own wave. You feel me? However, while you're spending what you think may be like days or months there, years upon like decades can like just pass and elapse like on the actual planet Earth itself. And this basically occurs when Lee Shaw enters Axis Mundi and Keiko herself accesses Axis Mundi. It's wild. A lot of people were saying, "Oh my God, this is just a plot hole. This is a fucking plot hole that is another classic example of a plot hole that, you know, the Monsterverse just never addresses and or resolves." But I'm like, bruh, dude, just shut up. Just enjoy the goofy sci-fi. I mean, like, bruh, it's a fucking show about giant radioactive reptiles. Why the fuck? Why is that the biggest plot hole that you're concerned about? Like, Jesus. Anyway. But yeah, that's basically Axis Mundi. So, just to re-emphasize just how badass Keiko is, she survives her stay in Axis Mundi with little more than with wit, skill, and a bow and arrow. Like, bruh, come on. Man. And don't get me started on like that scene where like she basically saves her granddaughter, you know, from the wild boar monstrosity. She basically like shoots it in the eye with like a bow and arrow and basically scares it off. Like, oh my bro. Oh, dude, it's legendary. Well, look at that. We have finally reached the end. Monarch Legacy of Monsters is an undervalued gem. It took every bad stereotype and shat on it. And through that shit, a lush, elegant, artistic garden bloomed, forever residing in our subconscious for years to come. Like, share, and subscribe. Shout out to my editor, Lou Thomas. The guy is the GOAT when it comes to like putting together just scenes and just creating just sheer art. Oh, and stay for the after credit scene. Later, folks.
I've been thinking about this all morning. What if Godzilla was like in a buddy cop movie and like the chief of police was like, "God damn it, Godzilla, you took out half of New York and 14 cars. What am I gonna say to the mayor?" "Well, I don't know, Chief. Mothra's dead, though." Or like he just roars, you know, he just does a roar, and like the chief understands him completely. He's just like, "Don't give me excuses, Godzilla. Officer Zilla. 14 cars."